Hi everyone, LiberAnarchy here. Yeah, you've seen the video making the rounds. I think it's a troll. I'm going to go ahead and respond to it anyway, just for my own amusement mostly. And there are reasons why I think it's a troll. I will go ahead and point those out when I see them. I'm already a little ways into the video because this guy's saying that he's somehow proven the existence of God. The video is called Gay Marriage Should Not Be Allowed. It's a Sin, people, and it's by Papa Don 95. Reminds me of Papa Doc. I'm wondering if he's actually trying to make reference to Haiti and offending people. So hopefully I've got it in the right place to start. So let's get into the meat of it.
I think what I need to address next is gay marriage. First off, I just want to say, obviously, I think gay marriage is a sin and it shouldn't be allowed in America because that's.
Okay, well, before you say that something should not be allowed because it's a sin, first you have to define sin, which hinges on the concept of God, and so you have to define God, tell us what God actually is so we can actually discuss it. Good luck with that. And then you're actually going to have to present us with evidence. And then once you do that, then you can, once you convince us that this God exists, then you can convince us that there are these laws that this God has, and breaking these laws is a sin, and that we should obey these laws and not sin, and that if something is a sin, it then therefore should be illegal. I mean, like eating fried food is a bad thing. That does not mean it should be illegal, unless you like the idea of living in a police state. So you have a very, very, very long road to travel if you're going to go the route of gay marriage is a sin.
Face it, most of America is Christian.
Yes, most of America is Christian. So what?
And it's time that we just notice that and make it a Christian nation.
Oh, believe me, honey, I notice. Make it a Christian nation. Why? That's stupid. So instead of, now I would contend that that this nation is not following the Constitution, but that's a different video for a different time. So instead of a country where you can speak freely, you would like to live in a country where you cannot say, use the Lord thy God's name in vain. Instead of, say, being able to, say, keep and bear arms to protect yourself, you would rather live in a country where it is law to, say, turn the other cheek and love your enemies. Maybe you want to live in a communist nation. After all, you are your brother's keeper. Living in a Christian nation would suck. I don't think you would like it either. Now, and even then, I have to wonder: are we going to go by the Old Testament or the New Testament, or try to go by both? And even if we go by the New Testament, Jesus does tell slaves to obey their masters. Do you want to reinstitute slavery? Really? And it is not a Christian nation. It is a secular nation. For example, we cannot have religious tests in order for somebody to take office. The Congress of the United States shall make no laws respecting the establishment of any religion. Christianity being a religion is included there, so they can't say it's a Christian nation. Now we're going to make laws according to any one of the umpteen bajillion Christian religions. Is sorry, we're just by definition we're not a Christian nation. Unfortunately, we are a Christian culture, but not a Christian nation.
The first thing I want to point out is how gay people. It's a proven fact. Gay people cannot look after a child nearly as good as a father and a mother do.
Show me your proof. Um, as Bionic Dance said, do you have links to articles, links to studies, valid studies? I mean, do you have even any, say, links to, I don't know, a YouTube channel or something where this topic is specifically addressed and proven? Can you link us to a news story that talks about studies saying that gay parents are very bad parents? Or, I mean, prove it. If it's a proven fact, please, by all means, show us the proof.
And this isn't just some wild claim that I, as a Christian, are throwing out because
Yeah, it is.
I don't like gay marriage. This is a proven fact. I mean, you can go look it up. There's
Where?
plenty of sources that talk about this issue, and it is a real issue. Uh,
Well, not really. The only problem that I can see as far as gay people raising children is that in a homophobic society, a child raised by gay parents is likely to get made fun of. Or a child raised by gay parents may not be admitted to, say, a private school or something like that. So I do see the possibility for slight problems of discrimination against the child, but in that respect, it would be that problem would be with the homophobic people who are discriminating against the child because of the parents, or not stopping their children from bullying this other child for having gay parents. I mean, okay, moving right along.
I think one of the main reasons is just because to gay people, babies are just like a fashion statement. They don't care about the baby. They just want to be fashionable, and babies.
And this is why I think you're a troll. I mean, unfortunately, yes, there are people who do think like you, but stuff like this is just, you cannot honestly say this kind of shit and not think that it's just offensive and not be out just to offend people. You're trolling. I mean, you know, it's it's almost April 1st, so yeah, happy April Fool's Day. Um, I mean, I don't know what to say to this. I mean, nobody's going to take this seriously.
They're fashionable in this culture. And I know it may seem harsh, but sometimes the truth is harsh, and
No, 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 no. It's not harsh. It's stupid. Very, very, very stupid.
people just need to realize that if you're gonna be married to another man, then you will go to hell, or two girls get married. And for America to allow people to do this, in effect, it's already sending America to hell.
So the whole country of America, just curious, will it also send the illegal aliens to hell because they're technically not Americans? I mean, in this scenario, will everybody within the imaginary borders that is America go to hell, or will it just be all the legal American citizens? Or what if somebody is, say, in the process of being naturalized? When they're done being naturalized, will they be then damned to hell? But on a more serious note, if you're going to base your arguments on something like hell, and I assume you mean the HE double hockey stick version, um, you have a lot to establish. You have a ways to go. Convince us there's a God, convince us there's life after death, convince us it's the Judeo-Christian God, convince us that there is a hell, convince us that we actually don't want to go there because as I see it, if hell exists, I'd rather go to hell than heaven, because um, God comes off like a real jerk, especially in the Old Testament. So I don't want to spend time with him. And the idea of heaven that I get is like, oh, everyone's praising God, la 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 la. That sounds like living in some kind of dictatorship. But what sends people to hell? Um, Unbelief, prostitution, maybe drugs, maybe, maybe drinking, maybe, I mean, they're playing cards, according to some very stalwart Baptists. There are so many things that send people to hell, and these are things that are usually either just stuff that human beings do anyway, like occasionally human beings hate other people, or we envy other people, or we're angry with other people occasionally, or they're fun things to do. I mean, so hell just sounds like a party where I'm hanging out with people that are just human beings. All right, so yeah, all of America. If gay marriage is approved, now gay marriage is approved in some states, so are people in those states going to hell? Or I guess that's the sound of people getting sucked into hell. uh, Best troll ever. But is it like the states that approve gay marriage are some, everyone within those boundaries are damned to hell? Or is it now that some states have gay marriage, everyone in America is going to hell? Or does there have to be this overarching national law that says gay marriage must be approved in every state, and then everyone in America goes to hell? Now, I think technically that would be unconstitutional, so I'd like to see gay marriage legalized state by state. Um, but again, that's a little bit off topic and for a different video. This video is just making fun of your troll video.
I mean, we're obviously a Christian nation.
No, we're not.
Like, I'm pretty sure, I think it was like 96% of Americans are Christian.
Last I heard, people who were believers are like 85%, but my statistics aren't reliable, and I'm damn sure yours aren't reliable. And even if 100% of us were Christian, this still would not be a Christian nation. And your argument comes down to majority rules, and fortunately, that's not how things work here. And you don't want to live in a place where majority rules, because then the majority uses the power, the coercive power of government, the guns behind the government, to enforce their will to oppress the minority. You do not want majority rule.
And so it's time we realize that, and it's time we make this a Christian nation.
So it's already a Christian nation, therefore we should make this a Christian nation because it's already a Christian nation. You're one of the funniest trolls to come along in a long time. And what's really funny is because, there's some people who are actually offended by you. There's people who are actually sucked into this. They think that you mean it.
I mean, let's just imagine a world where everyone in America is allowed to get gay married. Think of...
Well, again, I think that if a national law were made, that would be unconstitutional. However, I don't think that that would be a bad world. The only people that would then get married would be gay people or lesbian people, and maybe it would extend to transgender people. And there are states with idiosyncrasies about if you do transition, are you legally considered a man or a woman. And what about hermaphrodites? I mean, I don't know necessarily how far the law would extend, and the only thing it would really change is for a fairly small percentage of the human population. And even then, not every person wants to get married. Not every LGBT person wants to get married. Some people think that the idea of gay marriage is a way to try to drag people kicking and screaming into conforming to societal norms rather than just accepting people as they are. I don't agree with that. I think the push for gay marriage is all about, well, you're consenting adults. You want to draw up a marriage contract? Cool.
Well, what that would do to our population. Suddenly, our army's not strong. We don't have enough people to be in it. Uh,
Okay, this gets hilarious, but it wouldn't do anything to the population. Now, it would open up more families that could adopt children. Again, it wouldn't be a whole heck of a lot of families, but it would open up the possibility of more children being adopted. However, it's not like if you're gay or lesbian, you cannot marry someone of the opposite sex, quote opposite sex, because it's really not opposites. I mean, and what about people in between? But anyway, that moving right along. I don't even understand where you're going with this, because it's like, is it like, do you think gays and lesbians be in states where they cannot marry somebody of the same sex, they therefore marry someone of the opposite sex and then produce a child, sexually? I mean, do you think those are the only options? Because it's not. The population would not be affected.
Places like North Korea, which don't allow gay marriage, some
Because we must be like the North Koreans, right? Well, someone with your arguments, you want to be like the North Koreans, where the government is controlling every little aspect of your life, where the government is controlling what you and I are wearing, like the length of our hair and our daily activities, like when we're praying and for how long, and going to church whenever the Sabbath is supposed to be, depending on your religion, whatever.
they are the new superpower, and they already are becoming a fast nuclear superpower.
Right, so you're going to rant on about a nuclear superpower, and you're going to completely forget about Iran, and you're going to talk about a country whose army is starving to death. Good job.
And we're in cause for great concern.
We're in cause for great concern. Wern, cause for great concern. That reminds me of something I made up. Urine.
And yes, I know what the Constitution says. I think it's Fourth or Fifth Amendment.
Fourth Amendment is unlawful search and seizure, prevents unlawful search and seizure. If only it did. That's another rant. Fifth Amendment is the right not to incriminate yourself. Now, I may not have the verbiage of that absolutely correct, of course, but this is just off the top of my head. You don't know anything about the Constitution. Fuck you.
All men have the right to get married, but
That's nowhere in the Constitution that all men have the right to get married. The only possible thing that I can think is if there's a clause involving the right of citizens to say, draw up legal contracts or, you know, something of that nature. But there is no right that says, every man. I, what about women? I don't know. Every man has the right to get married. I mean, is this like in the Bill of Rights? Is this like the, fucking, are you going to tell me it's the, 39th Amendment or something? What the fuck?
It obviously wasn't. They didn't. There wasn't any. There wasn't such a thing as gay people back then. So
Yeah, and this is another reason why I think you're a troll. You go back and correct yourself, but yeah. And the whole North Korea bit, yeah, that's another indicator that you're a troll. And I'm sorry that my nose itches. I think there may be a cat hair on it. There. Okay.
that wasn't like a concern that they needed to address. That was during a time of no gay people.
It was during a time of sexual repression. Now, there have been times in history where homosexuality was accepted. Times and cultures, in other times and cultures where it has not been accepted. And there have been, and there still are places that will kill gay people, and there are other places that will imprison gay people or fine them or whatever. And then there are places like the United States where it's not illegal, but it's it's still looked down upon by a lot of the cultures. So, you may have people that just won't associate with gay people or will use a slur, or in the worst cases will bash gay people or kill them or whatever. But again, that's like the extreme. So, but my point is, there was gay people, I assure you, and in times and places where homosexuality is highly frowned upon, gay people will find one another. There are particular symbols and colors and signals and terminology that they will use. Originally, the word gay, it was happy, but the gay community started using gay as a euphemism, and so once people learned what it meant, people picked it up. Purple rhinoceros used to be a symbol of gay men. Um, let's see, there. Offhand, I can't remember all of the ones that I've heard about, but yeah, there are. There's been ways of, say, folding your lapel handkerchief and what and different colors that are signals, and now it's a rainbow flag, but it used to be a lambda. I mean, if you're gay, you're going to think about it, and you're going to find ways to navigate through a culture that doesn't accept you for who you are. So yeah, gay people existed, and back in 1776, they probably had their little winks and nods and signals to one another. So.
And I'm not saying that there weren't any gay people. I mean, that's ridiculous. But it wasn't something that anyone talked about. It wasn't like.
Not openly, but yeah. Like I said, euphemisms. People will find ways to navigate through the culture. Today in Iran, many gays and lesbians go to, quote, social clubs. And that on their face, that's what they are. They're social clubs.
Something that people knew about. No one said, "Hey, I like to have sex with other men," because.
No, but they may have said something else euphemistically that another gay man would understand as, "Oh, well, me too. Cool."
That people were more Christian back then.
Many people were more Christian, but also many of the founding fathers were Freemasons and had very negative attitudes toward established, what's the word? Not established religion. Come on. Organized religion. Benjamin Franklin, I believe, was down on organized religion. Thomas Jefferson. There were, of course, other founding fathers who were Christians. So I'm not saying that none of them were, but yeah.
Realized that they would have gone to hell, so
They realized, people back then realized they would have gone to a fictional place. Yeah. Just like people in the Middle Ages realized that trial by fire was a legitimate way of ascertaining somebody's innocence or guilt. I mean, come on.
suppressed those like they should have, those evil thoughts, and
Thought crime. Alright, you do want to live in North Korea.
look where they are now. They're probably in heaven, having a much better time.
Yeah, those people who repress those thoughts, boy, they're probably in heaven. Show me heaven. Come on, man. Believe me, repressing one's urges and telling yourself they are bad, and I do have to be somewhat serious for a minute, is a miserable way to live. I've tried it. It is a really, really miserable way to live. Self-deception does not do any good for a person.
I mean, this life here is short, and
That's why we have to live it to the fullest.
what really counts is our life in heaven. So
show me the heaven.
People might say, "Oh, you're ruining their life by not allowing them to be gay married," but no, I'm not. I'm actually making it a lot better, because this is a very...
So if I were to punch you in the face, I would be doing you a favor and doing it for you, because I would be generous enough to be letting you know how wrong you are and helping you to... No, come on, man. Take some responsibility for what you're saying. Oh my god. This is like when people get in somebody's face and tell them how bad they are and how they're going to hell, and then honestly say they are honestly convinced. And there are I get that you're a troll, and there are people though that are like this who will do their quote open air preaching, and they'll get in somebody's face and start telling them they're going to hell, and then they will honestly say that they are doing something nice for that person, and their thinking is so warped that they actually believe it. Or it's kind of like an abusive parent beating a child and telling the child, I'm doing this for your own good. Excuse me. And since that parent was abused, because abuse goes in cycles, and I mean, their mind is so warped that they believe it. There are people who want to, there are busybodies, these petty little dictator people in say homeowners associations. They're very nosy. They're busybodies, and they want to make little regulations about how everyone's blinds have to be the same color. Shit like that. You can't have a garden in your yard, even if it's a nice garden, because it lowers the property value. No, it doesn't. Come on. No, if it's a nice garden or a nice flower bed or whatever. I mean, these busybody kinds of people, right? These little petty dictators. They will convince themselves that they are doing this for the good of the community and for the people who live in said community. You're doing the same kind of thing. But then again, you're a troll. So this isn't like, I know that you're not serious.
A very small fraction of our life. when God was making Earth, He wasn't intending for um, gay people. I mean,
Oh, this Papa guy, he knows the intentions of God, and oh my goodness, how wise this one is. And God just didn't happen to intend for people, the kind of people that he doesn't happen to like. How fortunate for you. Yeah.
look at our sex organs; they fit together perfectly.
Did you know that you started out in the womb as female? Just an interesting factoid.
A penis isn't meant to go up someone's butt or whatever it is that gay people do.
Well, certainly there are gay people, a lot of gay people who do have anal sex. And there are other things that they do too. Is this something you think about often? I have to wonder. So, tell us, a wise one, what is the penis for? Oh boy, I
That's just I don't even want to think about that. That's disgusting.
but you did think about it. Well, at least you're not claiming that they eat the poo poo.
But I mean, why would God make sex organs of opposite uh, sexes that fit together so perfectly and think it's okay for gay marriage?
What? Marriage is about much more than sex, sweetie. For one, and for another, some people come out hermaphroditic. Not very many, but some do. The correct word I suppose nowadays is intersexed. My point is, did God not intend for those people to exist? So you have this all-knowing, all-powerful God who's just letting these hermaphrodites slip by him or something. In marriage, I mean, certainly involves sex, but it also involves sharing property, and it involves living together, and it involves negotiation and compromise. It involves pooling your efforts, and not just monetarily, but you may say do a project together, like say add on to your house, or you know wash the car or something like that. It's about helping each other, giving each other support, whether it's you know when your partner is sick, like physical stuff, or whether it's emotional and mental support. And yes, raising children, not just sex, but raising children, even adopted children. Or a couple who's infertile may not want to adopt, they may artificially inseminate or something, but marriage is about a lot more than just sex. But maybe you're just obsessed with sex and your mind revolves around the sex and the sex organs, in particular maybe the penis, because you seem to put a lot of thought into penises and what they probably shouldn't be doing and where they should not be.
And I don't hate gay people.
Actually, you probably don't. I think that you're a troll, but unfortunately, the people who are making similar arguments usually do, or they're usually uncomfortable around gay people, and they just don't want to take responsibility for it. So instead of just saying, the gays freak me out, I don't like the queers, I don't get it, it's icky to me, instead of just being honest about it. I mean, in fact, in some ways, I'd really appreciate it if a person who felt that way would just be honest. Then it would just be like, well, okay, then I won't associate with you because, I'm bisexual. And I'm transgender, so you probably don't want to associate with me, and I don't want to associate with you, and let's just save each other the trouble and the time. No, but people who make these kind of arguments that you're making, I mean, nobody does this whole North Korea argument, uh, but a lot of people who make these arguments, they want to use they want to use the force of government to say that consenting adults cannot draw up a marriage contract. But what they are too cowardly to do is just to say, I don't like queers, they shouldn't get married, I don't like seeing it. So they have the audacity and the arrogance to say, you guys cannot be equal to us. Because I think your relationship is not legitimate, because, somehow these people are arrogant enough to want to involve themselves in other people's relationships in the first place. You can't draw up a marriage contract, but I can. They have the audacity to do that, and to believe that it's okay to use the force of government to say these people can't, but often don't have just the responsibility and the personal honor just to express their real opinion and say, ew, those people are icky, I don't like them.
Okay, I don't hate them. I just don't like the idea of being gay. There's other alternatives.
If you don't like the idea of being gay, then by all means, just don't be gay. I mean, if you think, after all, that it is a choice.
And I just want to supply other alternatives.
You haven't supplied any alternatives. You haven't even talked about civil unions, which, by the way, separate but equal does not have a good history. It doesn't have a history of working. Yeah. What alternatives are you supplying?
Than gay marriage.
That's it? Phew. Now, Bionic Dance said, oh, the stupidity, it hurts. But, yeah, it's stupid, but it's a stupid troll. I mean, happy April Fools. I mean, the guy's only got a couple of videos up, 3 videos, and they're very they're very, I'm a fundamentalist Christian, and I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna go to hell if you don't believe in Jesus. There's your stereotypical funny fucktard videos, and I mean, I've seen like a lot of trolls on the internet take that angle. So yeah, so don't let the stupidity burn, because he can't burn. He's all wet. Don't worry. Just a troll. Just a nice little troll. Okay, so I spent way too much time on this guy. There we go. Finding the tab. Alright. Because I have several tabs open right now. Okay, well, that was fun and interesting, and I thought I would get in on the wackiness for April Fool's Day, which is coming up in a couple hours, or less than an hour. Okie dokie, Loki, as Pinkie Pie would say. So, have a great April Fool's, and know thyself.